and welcome to the Indie Game Award 2024 Winners Fireside Chat. I'm Natani, and today I'm joined by the winner of Best Innovation, Andy, Alex, Jay, Dan from Nut Games. Hello!
Hello
Hello
there.
there.
Nice to
Hello.
meet you. So please introduce yourself, your team, and your game to the audience.
Uh, cool. I'm Andy. I'm the CEO. We are Not Games.
Hello.
We made Not for Broadcast, which was for Best Innovation.
Yes, I'm Alex. Yes, not for broadcast. It's a sort of TV simulator, news simulator in this dystopian world. And yeah, we're really grateful to win Best Innovation at the game show.
Yes, amazed and flattered. Al and I basically did the story, the script writing, and the sort of that bit of the game. Fought our way along for 2 or 3 years to get to where we ended up. Al also did a lot of the art, and I did a lot of the music. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Den. Most of the video content for the game, a world record amount of
Very good.
footage. Well
Very
done.
good.
In the game. So yeah, I deal with sort of the video content on set, the filming and director of photography of it, and then also the post work of how to squeeze that large amount of footage down into a video game, and that kind of process. So I'm the video guy, as it were.
Nice to meet you all. So, first of all, what sparked the idea for Not for Broadcast?
So we actually all have backgrounds in theatre and film comedy, so quite an unusual background for game devs. Jay and I were talking that actually maybe we should be using our unique skill set of filmmakers and theatre and all that kind of stuff in some way. And then I just happened to be going to my day job working at a bar in London and went through a protest. I can't remember what it was for, but it was like a full-on protest, and there were counter protests, and there was police and stuff, and I had to kind of fight my way through to get to work. And it just kind of struck me at the time that as I saw these little scenes happening of like, the first set of protesters and then the other protesters throwing stuff at them and then the police pushing them back and all that kind of stuff, that actually depending on which perspective of this same one event that you were looking at, you would get a very different sense of what was happening. And just because that was where we were at the time of trying to think what to do next, that kind of struck me a little bit. And I think ran to Jay's house and took an envelope that just happened to be on his desk and scribbled a an image on it of a TV broadcast room. Uh, and it kind of went from there, really. The idea that you would be so whoever was in control of the news has a really strong grip on what the public sees. Actually, because the game was released in early access, we were actually hearing from quite a lot of
Yeah.
people. And so, whilst we were making and writing the story and making the game, we were experiencing quite like
Yeah.
firsthand because people from both sides of the political spectrum were really angry at
Yeah.
us.
Which means we
Um,
probably nailed it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that was kind of good. We always thought that if we can upset everybody, then we're probably saying
The
something
South
that
Park.
might be true.
When we released the first episode, which was very much look at this fabulous left-wing government, look how progressive they are, and just maybe slight undertones of what they're going to become. We knew at that point where this story was going to go, pretty much. But we would get flamed on Steam in early reviews. You're just a bunch of lefty libtard sort of idiots. And we're thinking, this game isn't left wing at
It
all.
was started,
This
yeah.
you just wait until you get the next chapter. It felt like we'd written like a thriller with a lot of murders in it, and someone had read the first 3 chapters and gone, "Oh, you're very pro murder,"
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, well, at the end of the book, the detective might solve the crime. You've only seen these opening episodes, so we were responsive and actually surprisingly responsive because we like to think that we're not affected by it, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
really do get affected by that type of feedback, and it does make you think.
That's how the game started.
Oh yeah,
As you can
so
tell,
yeah.
tangents will happen a lot around this.
You
Yeah,
only
you
need
have
to ask a lot of
lots
questions.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah,
Both Al and I are ill with some weird disease that makes us talk a lot.
well, that's loads of information, but it's interesting to know why you start the game. So, what were the biggest challenges you faced while developing the game?
Money. Always money. I think
Yeah.
all developers would say that.
Yeah, in terms of the actual content, I would say trying to achieve what these guys were writing as a single continuous take, because we had to show four cameras to make it gameplay. It's I'm not going to say it's easy to write a TV show because it's not, but it's a lot easier to take an idea if someone wants to have a really cool gunfight and shoot that with a single camera with cuts and edits wherever you need to cut them. Trying to give the player the option to then make those cuts, therefore you have to shoot everything, even the bad stuff needs to be correct, so that from a gameplay perspective there are good cameras to cut to and bad cameras to cut to achieve that was a huge hurdle, I would say, in terms of it had never been done before. So there was no one, you can't go online, you can't ask people, how do you do this? Because no one else was doing it. It was just us. So that was a big challenge, is to get over that single continuous take.
I was going to say, like, that, I think you said it there, being first in a number of different things was one of, like, there was so many challenges that came from that. From the filming side, from the gameplay side, no one had done live video editing, vision mixing like we had done. No one had to, I think, what's the total? It's like 16, 18 cameras that had to play at once at some points in the game. To have that much video footage playing technically all at one point, our programmers had to learn and create the code that makes that work, because just no one had done it before. Some of it was really good because we didn't have to follow convention, right? We could kind of design and take our own lead and work through. And some of it was frustrating in that we had no one, as Dennis said, to ask on any of it. We had to kind of just, that sounds good to us. It feels good to us. We'll try and make it work. I mean, the early access thing that we've touched on already, from a production point of view as well, trying to film a TV show, at least when you do that, you have a season, right? You go, you film season one, you have all the actors, you have all the sets, you might do reshoots, but they're all together. We had to keep coming back every year.
The early access model falls into a real challenge and a real problem, but also a real benefit and a bonus. Like, as you guys were saying with the story, it really benefited us to be able to adapt and pivot and twist.
Figure out how to do it rather than
exactly.
sort of put it
Whereas
out there. And
from, as Andy's saying, from a production standpoint, stopping and starting and slowing down is way more expensive, be a lot more technical and challenging, more to do with, actors availability and those kind of things, where we've hired the same actors and they have to be the same actors. We're not using CG characters that are ours and we can make them do whatever we want whenever we want. These are actors. If suddenly our lead actor goes and shaves all their hair off, we then have to make them look like, because everything has to be continuity. And so that's a big challenge with the early access model.
Basically, everything that we've just said, the challenging part is that we chose, by definition, to make a TV show and then turn it into a game. That was everything that was difficult is because we tried to make a TV show and turn it into a game.
Which sums up the last challenge, which was us four working together, from being really close friends to then working on this project,
profession,
and having those, like as Jay was saying, these disagreements. We always call their creative tensions. They're never, I dislike Al because he's a prick and he's done this. It's always,
sometimes it's that.
Well, yeah, sometimes
it's like being in a band.
It is. It has that, and that's probably the outside of the game itself, the challenge that we've got really good at it now. Our creative tensions are very much, we'll have a discussion and then we'll go, okay, fine, I'll throw my hands up. An hour can go by, whereas before we'd have days where it'd be like, well, I'm not talking to that prick because he said this idea.
The nice things was, because it was four of us though, because we're quite unusual in that setup, right? We have four directors and two programmers.
People hate that.
Very top heavy. But the thing is, because we all care that much, and when someone is angry at someone else, there's normally at least one, maybe two others that can kind of mediate and go, yes, he's being a prick, but don't worry about it. Let's focus and do this. Or actually, mate, you were a little
you're out of order there.
Yeah, and it's really good because, as I say, that has happened to all of us in 5 years, and it's always there's always the other two that can kind of go, oh, we've got to fix that.
Y'all really looks like a family. That's true.
Very weird family.
With time and money, we would have branched all of the stories and had these amazing different endings. But
the game would have been 200 gig.
Yeah, when you are at that kind of...
And limit, no one would have seen them.
Exactly.
And we would have spent more money than we would have made. There's definitely a real fine balance, as every game maker will say, between making the right amount of content that there's 2/3 of your game isn't seen by all the most players, and you've spent so much time and money on it.
For our game, based on the times on Steam, most people only play our game once through.
Yeah, we have a problem with scope.
We do.
But it did allow us to then also reflect how all these massive countrywide decisions you would make in the broadcast would affect on an individual level, on a personal level to the player family. That was the idea.
I really feel like y'all really love your job and love your game a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain, but I just feel it. So last, can you give us any hints about what's next for Not for Broadcast? I heard that there's going to be a DLC, right? Later
We
this
can
year?
talk a little about that. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yes,
Do it.
it is. We can't say a release date yet
Because we don't know.
because we don't know. But there's an exciting announcement happening soon. I can say that much. It is the last DLC in the trilogy or in the season pass, whatever we're calling it. The time loop. It rounds off. I would say it's a nice way of rounding off Not for Broadcast as a package, as a whole package. It's a lovely kind of ending to the universe, the world, the characters. It's just a nice kind of. It's a nice thank you and well done to the universe.
There were discussions at one point about releasing it as a sequel because we accidentally made a DLC that's about 2/3 the size of the main game.
See, what happened was Andy, the CEO, right? So he's got a lot of clout, and me, Captain, let's expand
Captain
the scope.
Scope.
Got together.
Something we did is we split our team, which we've never done before.
Yeah.
The four of us has always been together and done this as a process. When we decided to do the 3 DLCs, we needed to be able to achieve it. We had to split the team. By doing that, you fall into these problems. These two didn't have that normal bumpers and like that block to be able to go, whoa, you're jumping a bit too big here, you know, and vice versa. Me and Al were creating something that didn't have these guys' input, so we didn't have we couldn't see from the outside. Don't ever split the team again. We all know that this works as the four of us together.
But yes, that DLC is coming.
Yes, coming out soon.
In the next
year.
quarter.
There is an announcement. Keep an eye on Tiny Build's social media.
I'm really excited too to hear that there's a massive DLC coming out soon. So I think that's all for today's video, and thank you to Not Games for joining us. Hope to see you next time, and hope you can.
Thanks for having us. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We are genuinely so blown away. Whenever we win an award, it's not like a small thing for us. It really means a lot, you know. And to win an international award, that's so amazing. So thank you all so much.
You guys have done such a great job with the show. It's really, really cool.
And it's really pretty. It's a really pretty
Thank
award.
you so much. We will continue to update with more videos, so stay tuned. Until next time, goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Anthony.